Hey, Jeff White here, restored alcoholic. Just wanted to go into the next lesson on action. What do we need to do? What do you need to do in those first day, the first week, the first 30 days? What do you need to do to be fully recovered? And this is what I did. This is plus some things I heard other people doing. So this lesson's on what do you do to try to get out of that addiction lifestyle and get into a healthy, productive, and happy lifestyle. So hopefully you've watched the video on rest. You've decided that sleep better at night. Give yourself more hours to sleep at night. You've cut out some of those really harmful foods, or at least you cut way back on them. And then on the flip side, though, you're increasing eating better foods like vegetables and salads and healthy meats. Trying to cut back on your sugars, cut back on your fast foods, your fatty foods, and deep fried foods. Things that weren't around 700 years ago, right? So here we're going to go forward. Some actionable ideas you can do. I like to call this part the restoration, a little play on the word restoration, being restored to a healthy, productive lifestyle. Jeff White here, recovered alcoholic. Hey, so this is basically the first 90-day plan. This is what was taught to me. This is what I teach my sponsees. My sponsor taught me. It's what you hear in the meetings. This is what I read in dozens of books. And it's really, really simple. Like if you go to meetings, you're going to hear all the time, 90 meetings, 90 days. And which is great advice. I mean, if you can go, it doesn't mean you have to go to the exact same meeting every day. It just means, hey, try to hit different meetings every day. just trying to basically trying to help your brain rest. Because what do you do at most meetings? What do you do at any meeting I go to? It like 90% of the time, you just sit there and do nothing, right? You're trying your best to focus and concentrate and listen. So you really do nothing. You just sit there and you relax and you try to listen, observe, and learn. Right? That's what you're just trying to do in those first 90 meetings, those 90 days. So basically, you try to do an activity that's healthy every day. Like for me, 90 meetings in 90 days wasn't going to work. I didn't have the time. I didn't have the time. I wasn't retired, and I wasn't really young. For me, I was married. I had a baby. I had to work. I was working full time, 40 hours a week. I had a car mortgage, a house mortgage. I just did not have the capacity or the ability to do 90 meetings 90 days. But what I decided to do, which I think was super easy to do, and it's just as effective, is do something that's healthy and it's an activity that's like a meeting every single day. So for example, on Sundays, I would go to church with my whole family. So I would make sure I was with my wife, I was with my kid, we'd all go together. So I was going to a meeting and I was with my family. On Saturdays, every Saturday morning, I'd get up, have breakfast with my family, and then I'd go to a men's meeting. Every Saturday morning, there was a cool one. It was about 6 blocks from my house. Some guys that used to have rough lives that have turned their lives around. I'd go down there every Saturday morning. Monday, the very first week, I got a sponsor. The very first day, I got a sponsor. So I'm not sure everybody can get a sponsor on the first day or the first week, but do get a sponsor as fast as you can. And then every Monday, I met with my sponsor. Every single Monday for actually about 18 months, I met with my sponsor. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I would hit an AA meeting at 8 o'clock. So I'd go home, have dinner, I'd put my kid to bed, and at 8 o'clock, I'd go down to a meeting that wasn't too far away. It started at 8, get there about 5 minutes late. I'd go to a meeting every Tuesdays and Thursdays. On Wednesdays, my wife and I would go to a Bible study, right? So we went to a Bible study. I would go with my wife. Basically, I would just sit in the back and just stare. And I don't know what these people are really talking about. All I know is I'm not drinking right now, and I'm not thinking about drinking. I'm really just trying to think about what the heck are these people saying. My thought wasn't on me. My thought was on trying to figure out what's going on, which is way better than the alternative. And then Friday night, what I decided to do on Friday night, again, family, is that I try to be with my family and be with extended family on Friday night. So I'll try to go to my mother-in-law's house and watch a movie. We try to go to a cousin's house and hang out and have dinner. So we'd go out to Denny's on Friday nights as family night. And so what I try to do is do something that was productive, that was with people I enjoyed being with who weren't alcoholics or drug addicts, right? So that's what I try to do Friday nights. I'm not saying you have to do exactly what I did, but just try to think of creative ways that you can go and be at some type of environment where you're doing something that's the opposite of drinking and having those crazy thoughts going on that help you do your drinking. Hey, back again. So the next lesson is on the fog of war. So basically what's happening to your body is that you've really been at war for however long you're in your addiction. You're at war. Your body was at war with you. Your body's trying to be healthy. It was trying to clean all those toxins out. It was trying to get your bloodstream clean. It was trying to keep your digestive area clean. Your brain was trying to stay at a homeostasis. It was trying to stay at a relaxed level. The problem is, for like myself, I was eating horribly. I was drinking excessive, like a lot, right? Which makes your thought processes not coherent, and your thought processes really racing and crazy. And so I fed my brain to be in this weird abstract world that really doesn't exist in the real world. And I did that to myself for a very long time. And not only that, I don't know about you, but I was sneaky, I was conniving, I was paranoid, because I was sneaky and conniving, I was paranoid. Right at work, I was worried my boss was going to catch me. I was worried my wife was going to catch me too. My boss was going to catch me. I was going to get fired. I was going to lose all my money. At home, I was worried my wife was going to abandon me and leave me. I was going to lose my child. So all these thoughts and just paranoia, suicidal thoughts were going on for such a long time. And on top of that is the drinking, which I don't know if you ever tried to talk to a drunk person. They don't sound very good. So if they don't sound very good, just imagine how, when you're talking to yourself drunk, how bad you sound to yourself, right? So basically what happens is you have to, this first month, man, your brain is that same brain. Just because you stop drinking or doing whatever drug you're doing doesn't mean your brain stopped being that brain, right? So your brain is still trying to talk to the old brain that was always under the influence. So your consciousness and subconsciousness and everything was talking to that crazy guy or crazy gal for me, like for 6 months straight, constant craziness, racing thoughts, suicidal thoughts, homicidal thoughts, just total crazy lunacy in my head. And my brain was trying to settle me down. I was trying to talk to it, and it couldn't. You ever talk to a drunk person? It's not fun, right? So basically, those first 30 days, for some of you, it's going to be 45 days, 60 days, is that you're just trying to clear out the cobwebs. You're just trying to get your brain so it's not that crazy brain. I used to have after I stopped drinking for about 2-3 weeks, I had racing suicidal thoughts still, even though I wasn't drinking, even though I decided I was committed to recovery, my brain was still just jamming, racing thoughts. Pictures would jump in my head of just horrible things I had done or horrible things I have seen. I'd be sitting there talking to my daughter, having a wonderful time, and there would be a picture that would jump in my head, and I would just, unbelievable. I can remember one time sitting and standing in church, we're singing a song Sunday morning, had a good breakfast, everything was happy, and there was this little skinny guy standing in front of me, and all I could think about doing was punching him in the back of the head. So I just wanted to punch him as hard as I could. It was just these crazy racing thoughts that would just jump in there. I'm like, this is crazy. One night, I decided, dude, I got to stop these crazy thoughts. So I prayed to God, and I said, just please slow my brain down. God, just please slow my brain down. Just slow it down. That's all I'm asking. And the next morning I woke up, and it was slowed down. I don't know if it was time for my body to do that physiologically or spiritually. I was spiritually ready for it, and so when I asked for it, I got it. All I know is that I sat down one night and with honesty and just sincerity and just sick and tired of being so tired, asked for it. The next day I got it. Whatever you want to call that, miracle or just random chance. So those two coincidences happened at the same time. It happened. Hey, Jeff White here, recovered alcoholic. So you're in the first 30 days of recovery, and things are different. Like your body functions are different, your brain functions are different, and the key is that you're having this tug of war inside of you of the homeostasis, the way that you used to be when your body was in a balance, that your body balanced itself with the drugs and alcohol, because your body was skewed, and so your body had to get to a balance to meet that skewness. Now that you got rid of one, your body's still up here, and you're still in that first 14 days to 60 days where your body's doesn't know how to balance itself. There's nothing to balance itself off of, and you got to bring it down to where your normal functioning levels are at, and so then it can figure out a new balance. So you're trying to do the rest, is really important. You get the fog of war going on, and so at this point, what you really want to do is look at ways to stimulate your brain in non-confrontational, not too philosophically deep methods. Hit as many meetings as you can. Be a participant, but a quiet participant. Try to do a whole lot of listening and very little speaking. You really want to let your processes of your brain start to metastasize and start to get back to its normal self. What I did my first 30 days, I personally felt I didn't have the right to speak. I'm not sure if that's the right way of going about it. I would say, hey, Jeff White, alcoholic, 15 days. Hey, Jeff White, alcoholic, 28 days. Then basically after 60 days, I felt like I had more ground to talk, and I would talk a little bit more after 60. But I felt like the first 30, I couldn't function cognitively enough to formulate ideas that were impactful enough to even describe my emotions correctly. So find ways to stimulate your brain. Simple ways. Go to meetings, listen. Read books on recovery, on the nature of addiction. Meet with other alcoholics that have your amount of sobriety, and meet in public places, Starbucks, and read literature. Read a book, NA book, whatever, essay book, whatever, the Bible, whatever book it is you're most comfortable with that educates you on. It's not too prolific. Listen to audiobooks, audio tapes on recovery, on spirituality, on dinosaurs, just things to stimulate your brain that aren't too complicated. Go to some websites, review some literature, look at what other people have done, watch these kind of videos. There's thousands of videos on YouTube on what people did to do recovery. I wouldn't watch a whole lot of videos at the beginning because it's a lot of stimulation. Keep it simple. Meetings, one person talks at a time. You're at Starbucks, you're reading with one person at a time. You meet with your sponsor, one person at a time. One person talks, one person listens. Try to keep it simple.